But yeah, so kind of the other thing we were talking about the Jim that I raised the specter. I'm just kind of curious what your take on it is. This has to do with Star Trek. Now, obviously, the Next Generation was made before in the pre-internet days.
Yeah.
But like, do you think each of the ships has like a meme culture going on board? Like, do you think they like pull up into the star base and like swap memes with whatever they've got there? You know, are there like, we know from Enterprise that like old movies still exist. Do new movies exist? And if they do, like, do they propagate out through Starfleet? Like, or like I'm curious about all that, but also like, say you're the Enterprise, you pull up. Like, at what point does someone from Starfleet like, hey, so we need to like copy everything in your computer's memory banks because you've been out there, you know, enterprising, doing your thing, and like, who's in charge of like reading the logs and everything? Like where does all this happen? Because otherwise, all that's for nothing.
Well, I imagine that there's a transfer of that when they go to to a star base, that they would transfer that. As far as meme culture, I think it would be a ship per ship thing, because I think you're talking culturally isolated ships out in space. Yeah, you do meet occasionally, and you may say, oh, this is something, because I guarantee that there's probably somebody making a joke about Picard Day on another ship. Oh, Picard Day.
It's there, it's Riker.
On the Titan. We're still being Picard Day. No, I think it would be because why we share memes like within a country, and we may sometimes see stuff come from another country into ours. It's usually not going to be like a Russian meme coming into the US and we're like, oh, that's funny. Ooh. No, it's pretty isolated. And I think that's how it would be with the ships, is that culture would be isolated. There may be some back and forth, and the people are like, I don't get it.
So do you think like their memes would take into account like, oh, so we ran into this culture the other day and we found out that like their entertainment has this weird stuff and they're all like watching it and like, oh, that's kind of funny, or that's like picking it apart, like incorporating it in, and then like they meet up with another ship and they're like, what's this?
Yeah, like you had to be there,
Yeah.
Like we're so different. I'm half black, half white, and you're half white, half black. And you mean,
yeah,
that was an episode 2, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, can't you see? He's totally different than me. That side's white, that side's black. On the other one, that side's black, and that side's white. Totally different. And they're like, no.
Yeah, well, the real important part there being when Spock spells out that, like, clearly they came from a common ancestor. It's like, that was the punchline. The president should be like, the humans should be like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, morals that still fit in today, but
yeah, no, just like, I think there's a whole, like, technical side to the show. I mean, obviously it'd be an incredibly boring episode of like, oh, we're here to collect your computer data. And, the guy, it's like, all right, well, me and the crew are going to spend the next 30 years coming through all this to try to make something of it.
No, the technology they have is fast enough to their isolinear or the weird organic computer that the Voyager had on it. That was the only one that used that, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing that again. Because I think later they even switched it to an isolinear chips system because it was.
I haven't watched all of Voyager, so I wouldn't know. I really should.
But no, I think when it's in for maintenance, that's when they would take that stuff off. I just wonder if there's ever like that one ship that's like, oh yeah, by the way, we ran into this V'ger thing and we've got like all of data now from everything. There's no reason to explore anymore. We've got it all. Here, just upload it.
Well, isn't in
the answer?
I don't remember which series it was.
The ultimate answer is 42. Just go with that.
I don't remember which series this was in, but wasn't there one where they were trying to perfect like beaming to the point that like you don't even need the ships? We'll just target a planet and beam there. I don't remember which series that was, but I know they were talking about that. It wasn't going to work, obviously, but because then you lose half the aspect of the show. And they're like, but if only there was a gate to the stars, perhaps we can make a show based on that won't have spaceships. we'll just do this. Then we'll introduce spaceships later on in that show.
Well, the whole point of transporting was just because there wasn't a budget for shuttlecraft.
Right.
An entire genre of
Like a foundational thing to Star Trek.
it's all just because of a technological or a limitation in budget to actually have landing craft.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's the kind of thing that I wish that there would either be a couple episodes here and there to deal with it, or maybe like a 6-episode series just showing like, you know, some of the background stuff in the Federation. Because like there has to be a division of the Federation that's all they do. You know, is like going through the computer logs, you know, trying to catalog everything that's there so they can update like this whatever Starfleet encyclopedia is. And like another question is like, do you think all the ships all have the same operating system?
No.
Or do you think it's like this class of ship probably has this operating system, a newer one will have this one, and like, is it even possible to update the other one because it's possibly also built around like the technology itself and not just, oh well, we can just update this like Windows. Like no, this uses this kind of chips that won't work. This new one uses this kind of chips, so it will work.
Well, I mean that's what the whole point of retrofitting the ships are.
This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. The link to the podcast that this is from will be down in the description. And if you like what you saw here, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This is YouTube. Presumably you know how it goes. Thank you for watching, and see you folks later.